This is the John Hallett Podcast with John Hallett.
Because the way we're living, we need to change it, make it change today.
We all learn from failure. Maybe they just wanted it a little bit more than you. That's probably the fact.
And now your host, John Hallett.
Hey everybody, what's going on? We are here just talking away. Josh and I were shooting the shit about what's going on in the world and, what's up with me, what's going on. We were talking about genetic testing. I am given a peptide, CJC 1295 and epamorelin. Two of them combined supposed to have a 5% uptick in using them both combined versus using them alone. So I'll keep you kind of posted on that. I think it's a 6-week cycle of doing that. So a lot of people have been on the peptide craze and, some natural stuff. Just what can you supplement and feel a little better? So we will keep you posted. One of the big things with that is recovery and sleep with those two. So I'm excited to see because, sleeping, God, you just can't, as far as like your excuses, I'm tired at 4:30 in the morning and I'm tired at 7 o'clock. Like Sundays, if I sleep in, lucky we have teenagers, if I sleep into 7, 8, I'm still tired. I'm tired at 4 a.m. I don't know, sometimes if I wake up at 1:30, I feel like ready to go.
Yes.
I'm like, oh, good, I can still sleep, but man, I'm feeling awake right now. So sleep is really important to me, and recovery time is always huge the older you get. So we'll kind of keep you guys posted on that. And again, Chrissy's info, you can reach out. It's on our band app here for our students here at Rocky Mountain Self-Defense and Fitness. If you're interested, or we can put you in touch. Again, we don't read the comments, and when I do, I just get upset. Somebody called me a dork the other day. Stupid YouTube putting the comments right on your dashboard. You can't help but see them sometimes.
I wish you could see.
I was like, are you talking about Josh? I don't think you're talking about me.
Yeah, I mean, clearly, I will accept that I am a dork. I mean, that it's clear I'm a dork. I'm not going to deny that one, but I don't know. I've never put you in the dorky category. If I was going to insult you, I wouldn't use dork.
Yeah.
It's
and I was being silly, stupid of, what was it? It was the gun, travel anxiety.
Oh, yeah.
Leaving your guns, and man.
I have it, like, for real. You land in a new place, there's no reason that everyone gets concealed carry permits and stuff, right? The world's a dangerous place.
There's plenty of danger. It just seems like the world is crazier and crazier these days, and I feel like the government is taking more and more freedoms away. It's just ridiculous, the things that go on, and just the power structure. Most people want to bury their head in the sand, and they keep you content. And if you don't think so, one example is COVID. And when they close down the liquor stores and then they open them all back up, well, I better keep the peasants at bay, right? Just freaking sedate you.
That was kind of weird, allowing the liquor stores to stay open, but they would try to close gyms, right? One clearly has health benefits, and one is... It's a vice. You do not need alcohol to live. It's nice to have as a treat. I understand why people want it, but I thought that was the oddest thing. I mean, and all it really did was crush small business. I mean,
the whole thing. But, they just want to control us, and I think it's just ridiculous. We don't really have good leadership. I listened to I think it was a great podcast with Rogan and Tucker Carlson. Kind of when you get somebody on Rogan and just that long format talking, and you can really get to know that person. I think it's a great format, and I think he really seems like a good guy. And some of the things that he was saying just about AI. And being it's going to be the number one consumer of power.
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
So maybe we should shut it down if we're really concerned about the environment, quote unquote, and everything else that's going on. Maybe you should shut that down. or like private air travel. They go on to a few things of that nature, and I think it's a really good podcast. He's got some really good things in there. We talked a little bit off air about who was it? What's that guy's name? You knew him. You said you followed him more.
Alex Jones?
Alex Jones, yeah, right?
Yeah.
The guy that predicted 9/11.
So Alex Jones has gotten a bad rap. There was clearly that Sandy Hook stuff that.
Oh yeah, that was they were talking about that, which I
which
wasn't aware of.
Yeah, which is kind of he was. I mean, he had that going for him, but when you look at the predictions he made in like June of 2001, he predicted that Osama bin Laden would blow up the Twin Towers, and months later it happened. He's had solid reporting on InfoWars, is what they call it. Like the reporting has been really good, but he goes against the narrative, so everybody's just piled up against him. He has good stuff. Don't get me wrong. I think some of the stuff
everybody's wrong about something. I think Tucker Carlson was like, I was wrong about the Iraq wars and different things. I was wrong, thinking about things that happened with Kennedy, and Trump was talking about Kennedy, of like, if you knew the things I knew, you wouldn't talk about it either. Just there are things that go on with people that they just have so much power and they want to keep it. And Alex Jones, that clip I sent of you was from 7 years ago, and he was on. I mean, he's basically caught like they're pedophiles and everything else that he was talking about, and AI. I mean, that conversation, if you didn't know, it could have been yesterday, because you're like, geez, is he talking about referring to Epstein Island? And he's talking about it 7 years ago. And, I really think we should shut down AI. And it seems like all my software, our gym software that we use, they're not a sponsor, so we're not going to tell who they are. Right. Josh will get mad at me at the end. No, if you're a business owner and want to know what, hit me up with an email.
It's a great system.
You should be able to contact me on any of my websites.
But they're doubling down on AI.
We're going to think AI, and you can upgrade this in your account, and it's AI and everything. Adobe Illustrator, Adobe Photoshop, Content Studio. Oops, I let one slip. That I'm sure Hootsuite. I'll just throw out two of them there.
Yeah.
I used to use Hootsuite, but we've moved to Content Studio for pushing things out, and even that we kind of backed off because I am just sick of the time that it takes. And you're like, is it good? Is it bad? You're trying to reach people, and man, I'm just over social media. Before I told you, I'm like, I'm a little. What are we doing with the podcast? We're out there talking. Is it? At the end of the day, it's fun. I enjoy talking to you. I mean, I gotta pay you. Maybe I think you should pay me.
Whoa. If I lose this gig, my wife will leave me.
She'll what? If you pay me?
No. If I lose this gig, my wife will leave me. All that power.
It's tough, right? Everything out there, the social media, everything else, and at the end of the day, everyone's trying to make a paycheck, and the government's trying to take it away. I mean, small business is crazy. My wife just, got upset. She was having a bad day. But I'm talking about, hey, I think when we decide to retire, which I'm not going to do, but retire from the gym and somebody taking it over, I was like, I can make it to 60, I'd still like to do it, but on a much smaller scale.
Yeah.
The kids are super satisfying. It's great. There's so many quote small business. Maybe we could start a show like Restaurant Impossible.
I love it. But people don't realize the toll that small business takes on you. There's so much behind the scenes that you do. Like everybody sees the cool side where they get to come in, they train. They don't realize that the moment they leave, you're upstairs working your butt off for hours a day.
Oh yeah, people don't think you work.
Yeah, and it's like
that much, and
you got payroll, you got schedules, you got people sick, you got life stuff. There's maintenance in the gym. It's everything.
Yeah, I mean, it's time consuming just following up with people.
Yeah,
it is super time consuming, and you gotta have a social media presence, and how long did it take us to put out our latest campaign? that was 10 days, maybe longer to do that campaign that that we're doing. Oh, it's tough, and I had said we've got a couple things going on right now in the hopper, but I had said to my wife, God, I kind of miss construction because it's just satisfying. You're calling people don't answer you, even members will ghost you, and you're going, geez, maybe it's easier if I just go back to building houses, because at least if I paint a wall, frame a doorway, put in a new door, window, whatever, you did something, you accomplished something. And that's satisfying. Like, okay, look, I did this. That's what I loved about construction.
Yeah.
That you could sit back and go, there's a house. It was a hole a year ago, right? And you built a house. It's satisfying.
It is.
Now, I've talked about it. I don't know if I talked about it in the podcast, but it's slow and steady working with students, and it's over and over. But it's satisfying to look back like, wow, look at how far they've come. And it's that, hey, I wish I hit that ginormo Powerball or Mega Millions that you could archive and show the journey and how much time consuming that would be just to take on that project. Like, let's show the evolution of this person. And then the person quits. You're like, great. You would have to do it on so many people. It would be super cool. But it would be super time consuming to create that movie or that documentary of somebody's progress through self-defense. I mean, it would be a big budget.
The directing, the amount of business hours you have to put into that stuff blows people's minds. Because, there's been clients that I've worked with in the past that are like, we'd love to have some sort of show about us. And once they realize the amount of work that goes into it, they got to choose run my business or do this show.
Yeah, you realize when you hear the production cost of a movie in Hollywood.
Yeah.
And what it takes. I mean, is it probably inflated? A little bit, but still not really. You're like,
it's expensive.
Even what's a big movie? I can't even think. What's a big movie production? Or the average movie production?
I always think back to The Matrix because they used a bunch of new tech, but it still cost a bunch of money. Even though there wasn't a lot of
million?
Yeah,
what is it?
It's wild.
Even if it's 25 million, that's an insane amount of money to make a movie.
Right, and a lot of them are hitting the 100 million mark.
Yeah, I think I've heard 100 million, and it's just the same thing on a smaller scale for us. And you're going, is this even going to get you anywhere? It's continuing. I think small business owners are fighters, and gym owners and martial arts school owners are obviously fighters and have that tenacity. But man, you got to keep at it. And it's defeating sometimes. You just got to have those rewarding things of seeing a student progress or, get their first, pull up or just, lose 10 pounds. Whatever it may be, those are the rewarding things, and you got to balance those things that just beats you up, and I go, geez, building houses is a whole lot easier.
Hey, I loved trade work, man. I really did because
it's satisfying.
The other part of it is that you get to use the artistic side of you. Not only do you're building a home or you're building something that's going to make somebody happy, you make it look beautiful, right? And there's that sense of satisfaction that you've created something that's awesome, right? And they walk in, they see it, and they're like, oh my gosh, this is my dreams come true, right? And that's where I really enjoyed about the trades, because, when I would put like almost glass-like finish on baseboards in some of these really amazing houses, dark black finished in there on the wall, and it looks like a piano finish, and they walk in, the whole room's elegant, right? And I had a piece in doing that. And, I enjoy it. Like, those things are cool.
Yeah. Yeah, building something's awesome. Or like somebody that restores a car. I always wish I was.
Oh, I would do that too.
But I have no mechanical skills.
Yeah.
But, really not. I always like, that's super cool to restore an old vehicle and bring it back. And it's awesome.
I know somebody that's doing that with old antique guns. They would find like things that are just completely rusted, and they'll bring it back. You can't really shoot it to some degree, but there's that historical museum piece is what they turn it into.
Yeah,
right.
And that's history.
That would be another fun thing, right? Because that's stuff the history side of it, archaeology, and all that stuff I've done. Stuff, it's satisfying.
So, but back onto the government. What do you think?
Oh, man, things have gotten really weird. Like the state of the world, first off, is crazy, right? There's never been a time in history where we've had supreme technology that's going to be connected to a supreme intelligence that can track everything we do. You know what I mean? And we're about to have these AIs. You like talking about AIs because they are so resource hungry. But imagine that, well, and this is happening, all the chip makers are making sure that all new chips coming out have some sort of AI interface.
Yeah.
So you're going to be forced into AI, right? You don't even have a choice. That's the way the world is moving, and consumer electronics makers are putting it in everything.
Yeah, we gotta stop. We gotta stop it. I gotta tell you, it's cool, but yeah, what was that? What else is cool? Cigarettes used to be cool.
Yeah, and the fiberglass butts, right, that they used to put in there.
I mean,
but that went away.
Just because it's cool and easy, and there's stuff we talk about. It's great to help titling something, and there's great aspects. But us hashing it back and forth, is it just as beneficial? You know, you're bringing in. It's cool. I like different things, but when you step back and go, but I'm fine without it, and seeing this thing evolve and what it could turn into is just crazy to me. Like, the world just seems crazy. The stuff that's going on, and I don't care. You're like, are we offending anybody? At this point, I don't care, and I've always said, you know, I'll just go work at Home Depot. And I actually said that to my wife, because she's like, oh my God, like, healthcare. If I don't have my job and I don't have healthcare, what are we going to do? I'm like, I'll go work at Home Depot. She's like, you're not going to be able to make your living. I'm like, well, you said healthcare. Is that important? Yeah. I'll go there. I'm like, I'll figure it out. You know, babe, we'll figure it out. I've never had a real freaking corporate job. Yeah. And I think everything being corporate and bigger, it's the conversation again, like sidetracked on, you know, these guerrilla capitalism.
Yeah.
That they want to, they're going to shut down the small people. We've seen that over the years. All the hometown lumber yards and hardware stores are gone. It's a shame.
Yeah, mom and pop's restaurants.
You know, I know, like, let's just go corporate gyms and crap. It's just a load of crap to me. And health insurance costs a ton of money.
Yeah. Taxes.
And they're taking more and more money. They want to tax you. You know, they want to tax your ammo. They want to tax. I mean, Colorado, I'm like, I'm done.
The administration
like,
wants
if
to
you
roll
guys
back
want to do
tax
this, it's crazy to me. It's not for the good. They're evil people. Mm-hmm. It's just a load of crap to me, and I'm done with it. And you're like, oh, and you know, Tucker Carlson's like, everybody's afraid they're going to put kiddie porn on your computer.
Yeah.
Yep. And they can hack into whatever, yada yada. I mean, I thought you had to think like, who's more free, the North Korean people or the American people? Who has more freedom?
Well, I mean, the government tracks me on my phone everywhere I go.
Right there. He's like, North Korea, they don't have as much technology.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy. I'm done with it. They're not helping people, and they want to take more and more freedoms away, and they want to get more and more insane, or give people, they were talking about, and it was like, I'm like, are you serious? This is, and I'm not, they were talking about two guys that's transitioning, whatever, and they're breastfeeding. They're taking hormones to breastfeed the baby. And you're like, that just seems insane to me. I think Rogan said that's Satan. You're like, that's something Satan would do. It is not real, people. I don't know where these people are.
That could happen. I didn't know we could make that happen.
I didn't know either, but that's something pure evil. And you're going to have people out there going, you're not letting them do it. That's not human. Males were not designed to do that. And it just blows my mind.
Yeah.
that the insanity out there. I mean, who like people are like the clown world, like these. It's just the government's turned into a bunch of clowns. I mean, no, they haven't turned into. They've always. There's always been those crazy things out there from the Kennedy conspiracy, Nixon. You know, I listen to that Rogan podcast with Tucker Carlson. You know, he goes into a few things on each of those things, and you're going, you know, I've ever connected the dots on that. That what's his face? Was it who broke the Watergate?
Woodward and Bernstein.
So one of those guys was a Navy intelligence officer.
Okay.
And he was the rookie reporter. Now Tucker Carlson's like, I grew up, my father was a reporter. I grew up in this industry. That doesn't happen. You don't send the rookie guy on the biggest story, like, and he goes into it, and the other person was like an FBI something, you know. But this guy was a former Navy intelligence officer of some sorts.
One of them, I think.
And now I think it was Bernstein, but maybe whichever
I don't know.
Guy.
Yeah.
Listen to that episode.
But weird, you send the weakest link to go get the biggest story ever.
Yeah, you're like, in a fight gym, they're not going to get challenged and go, let's send the rookie.
Yeah.
To stand up for our reputation. You don't send him on the biggest freaking.
Not unless you want him to botch it up.
But they didn't botch it up.
No.
What was a connection?
Yeah.
So the government just blows me away. They're not really helping anybody. When was the last time they helped anybody?
It was Reagan who had those famous 9 words: "I'm from the government and I'm here to help." You know, it was a famous line.
Lower taxes, they really don't.
Well, that's not going to happen. The administration wants to roll back taxes.
We're sending money, you know, to all these countries, and you know, I'll piss people off by the Ukraine is crazy to me. You know, protecting Israel, I feel a little bit different there, yes, but we're still just shelling out just so much money.
Let's put that into perspective for a moment, right? They tax us on everything we do, right? And not only do they tax us, right? They're spending more than they're taxing us.
Yeah.
So they've already taken everything we've had, and now we've got $30 trillion in debt. 33 with trillion.
It's absolutely insane. And we're sending money. We need to get our house in order.
Unless the plan is to make sure that the house falls. And that's where we get into being called conspiracy theorists and all that crazy stuff. But how many of the conspiracy theories of the last 10 years started being real?
I know.
And it's
well,
but you were crazy for thinking it, though.
And you're crazy to think, you know, that the magnetic shift is going to happen, and what's going to happen there. You know, I mean, I think that guy Suspicious Observer on YouTube is fantastic. And looking at the sun and how it affects our weather. I had my wife listen to this one. I didn't follow up on it, but he's predicting, he's like, there's going to be more earthquake activity potential because of what's going on with the sun. And I just saw somewhere had like 22. Was it Taiwan somewhere? I mean, I didn't click on it, but there was somewhere they had like, I think it was like insane, like 22 magnitude 5 earthquakes in 24 hours or something like that.
Yeah,
Taiwan, he was just talking about it.
Yeah.
Like, and how the sun affects the Earth's weather and earthquakes and seismic activity. It's crazy.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, anytime you've got.
Do they know this is going to happen? There's supposedly, you know, CIA reports on the poles shifting and what's going to happen. So do they give a crap that they're spending this money? But then why not? Like, why not blow it on a party? Why are we having a war?
Yeah.
If these guys really cared, why don't they just make it clown world? United States, we're all going to the Super Bowl every day and like whatever. Instead, we're funding wars.
Yeah, and then they want you to pay more. And the only way that happens is through tax increases. So wait for that. Wait for the next couple of years. Depends on which way this next election goes. But if it goes one way, I guarantee you there are going to be even more taxes. Far more taxes.
Oh yeah, if we get another clown far left, and I hate to, like, they're not even I don't even, they're just clowns. They're not even far left liberals, the woke agenda. I think that's a cult.
I've talked about that in other places. Yeah, it's like its own religion.
The whole agenda is like, you're a cult. That if it goes that way, holy moly. Holy moly.
You know, there was a stat yesterday too that 10%, it used to be that 38% of renters thought they would never be able to own a home, which is kind of a high stat. And it went up to almost 48% in less than a year. So there's 48% of people out there who are renting who say they will never, ever be able to afford a house.
Yeah, it's great.
Isn't that wild? I mean,
yeah, I was talking to my daughter who's 18 of, hey, first I'm getting out of college and being able to buy something. You've got to get in the. I say that to my little kids all the time. Like, get some mat space. You guys should invest in real estate. I'm like, you had that thing. Life coach. I always tell those kids, like, invest in real estate. Yeah. Or I tell the little kids, like, invest in retirement homes, because all of you guys are going to be there when you're 40 because you can't even do a squat right now. You're moaning and groaning. I invest, and I don't have any money in retirement homes. But I don't take my own advice. I do other things. But man, it's a good investment.
It is.
Because people are headed there earlier and earlier because they don't do crap. They don't get off their butt. They don't, freaking try. Yo, it's hard. I'm just so sick of it. You're like, what's the best excuse you've ever heard? They all suck. You suck. You're making excuses. You suck. Want to make an excuse, Josh?
No.
Look at Josh's face. He made an excuse, punched him in the nose. If you're wondering why Josh has that Band-Aid there.
It was an accident. It was my fault.
It was my fault. Follow the story that I punched you for making an excuse. It's a better story.
I don't remember. All I remember is hearing pop, ow! And then we moved on. But
yeah, it's just, stories.
What would you rather tell kids in the future now? Should you spend your investment money on a college education that, depending on what kind of degree you get, will make you money, right? It won't make you rich for the most part. Maybe STEM backgrounds. But if you were to take that same money and you invested into a property and you worked your butt off while you were paying off that house, who's going to be further ahead financially in 10 years if you had those two groups going head to head?
Yeah, it just depends.
Right. That's why I said if you got those STEM side where you've got those engineers and you got scientists. You got
like, let's say you went into construction or auto mechanic. Yeah. They're making good money. Yeah. So if you invested that and made it, it's like some of these jobs like Nantucket, people used to make a ton of money, but do you really want to be working at a bike shop your entire life? Do you want to be in restaurants? There's good careers there. You make a ton of money, and it sucks you in. But now your friends slowly working up their college. Right, they get out and they spent this money and they're going up higher and higher. Now their potential income is a lot higher, and what seemed like a lot of money in your 20s isn't a whole lot of money in your 40s.
Yeah.
Oh, it just depends. I mean, I think you can't go wrong. I mean, you could also be just in a bad job. So I think you can't go wrong with investing in real estate, no matter who you are.
But some of the wealthiest people out there own properties and pay off their house.
If we really cared about kids, college would be freaking virtually free. You could have a little skin in the game.
Yeah.
It's the credit cards. I don't care about it. Like 20% interest, they're freaking killing it. Do they really care about the American people? Why don't they put some sort of cap on credit card interest rates?
They did. It was set at 21%. 21%! Anybody knows anything about interest, right? 21%, you will never pay something off. Right? If you pay the minimum.
It's insane. The whole thing.
But I say explore trades. Explore something different.
Find something you like.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, if you don't like it,
you're not going to love it.
Yeah, you got to like what you do. love it would be even better.
Yeah, that's the goal, right? Find something you love and find a way to make money at it. That was the advice I heard from when I was in high school from this guy who was, you remember the movie Good Morning Vietnam?
Oh, yeah.
He worked at that radio station with that guy, right? And he had showed me the world of broadcasting, and that was the moment I said, wow, that'd be a cool job.
Yeah.
But there's no money in it. I mean, it's hard, unless you're famous.
Things that are cool with no money in it.
Yeah.
Hey, look, guys, stay on the lookout for our Suckless brand. We've got a bunch of stuff on shop.clearsky.training and shop.rmsdf if you want to support the podcast. That's a great way to do so. But stay tuned for some stuff coming out strictly with Suckless. So check that out on our website. There should be a tab there for all our Suckless gear and just being better. It's as Josh says, it's a lifestyle brand. That it's a statement that I'm tired of people that just suck. You suck. You woke agenda. You suck. You people that make excuses and bring down society. And be better. Be ready for whatever comes. Train more. Suck less is one of my favorite taglines off of our Suckless brand. We've got some cool stuff coming out strictly Suckless. Somebody has suck-less.com and they want $15,000 for that domain.
Here, I gotta look at the camera with a face.
I was like, yeah, thanks, but no thanks.
I'm good.
I can do suckless.co.
Be just fine.
That'd be fine. I mean, I'd like to have .com and whatever, but you know what? $15,000 for a stupid domain. I'm not Ford. Remember that when people were buying buying domains of the very start of it, and then taking domains and all. Like there's some.
I mean, they
legal
still kind
actions.
of do it. They still kind of do it. I mean,
people try to. But you know what I really want to do is
What?
just go get an on the grid house, and have some chickens and cows and do something and live a simpler lifestyle. My wife is always, and I'm the same way. I mean, I like my Mexico vacations. I like my Jeep and, being able to off-road and whatever else, I like to be able to buy ammo to, and to live the lifestyle. But sometimes I'm like, would I be happier if we were just off the grid, or maybe had a little thing and you were teaching, 10, 20 kids, 30, 15 kids, 15 adults, and you had this little thing, or you did some other part-time work, or, whatever it is, but geez, now you're not going to have enough money to go visit the kids and do all this stuff.
Yeah, trying to weigh what you do.
And I really kind of think it would be happier than the grind that people are in. Some of these people's jobs are so stressful, and you got people that are jerks and everything else, that it would be so much simpler of a lifestyle. Chop wood, carry water.
Have you seen what you can do with an acre of land? I was watching a guy that was growing raspberries, strawberries. I mean, he was replenishing all the nutrients in the soil as he was growing corn, and then lots of green leafy things. He had chickens. He kept goats and a cow. And this is all on a single acre of land. He made enough food on that 1 acre for the whole year. One good season, he had enough food for the year. And you think about your relationship with what you eat at that point, right? There was this wonderful class I took in college. It was called Humans and Animals in a Relationship. And what the class was
It's a different one now.
Yeah, right.
Took that. If you told me you took this class last week, year,
this is almost 10 years ago now. But
that would be a different class,
right? But it talks about the relationships people have with animals, because generally those animals are precious to you, right? Because they provide something, and you take very good care of them, right? And you know what you're feeding them, so you know what you're putting into your body. Those onions you grew were grown by you. You know what went into those soils and what came out of it, right? Your unpasteurized milk, coming out of it, there is a risk you get sick, but for the most part, it tastes so much better, and it's got so many more nutrients, right? And all from a single acre of land that you can do this, but we don't do that at all anymore, right?
Yeah.
There's no agrarian society, is what we call it, agricultural society. The agrarian world that Thomas Jefferson dreamed of, that's really what he wanted, is that everybody was growing their own food, and they took care of themselves. That way they never had to be reliant on something else.
Yeah, that's my talk about having a community like that of people and buying. I'm pretty sure we've talked about it on the podcast, but I talk to you a lot, so pretty sure it was on the podcast. And just having a community like that, that would be super cool. And I think we're going to be in a whole lot worse off position if something did happen, like a solar flare, some other event. Whether
it only takes little things like floods and tornadoes. Right?
Yeah,
those are not little.
People go
but
crazy. I mean, if a meteor hits the Earth, even a small, like what that could cause, and
in today's world, the nuclear bombs, right? I mean, it's not like the 50s all over again, but it is.
People with the destruction, people don't know how to survive anymore.
No.
It's hard. I don't.
John, people don't know how to survive in the modern world, right?
Yeah.
They don't know how to.
People don't know how to take care of themselves physically, and have the motivation to do it.
Yeah.
Like what it would take to get out there and take care of the animals. Like, I can't get out of bed
because they rely on
freaking brush their teeth, let alone get out of bed to work out, let alone to take care of some animals. And God, I'm so anti. Like, it's just suck less. Like, create this thing of this movement that be better. It's all about being better. Just do something. But this modern culture, I'm sick of it.
It's made everything easy. Right? Everything's easy. If I'm hungry, it's easy. If I need a rest, it's easy. If I want to relax, it's easy. If I want to go somewhere, it's easy. I get into a car and go. Right? We don't have to worry about the hard things anymore. Like making that food happen. Because if you didn't make that food happen, you're either going to have to go hunt for it or you starve. I mean, those are the two options. But when you give people bread to eat, they just sit there and eat the bread. They don't do much else. And that's where we're at. Right? We're like Rome. Just give them entertainment and bread.
Yeah.
And that's when you know you're on the end of societal collapse. But societies do recover, right? They can respond to this stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I'm always positive.
Yeah. And it's like, you just got to get the message out there.
Yeah.
And hopefully it doesn't turn to the crab bucket. So when you want to change, the other crabs don't keep trying to pull you back down. That's the other thing you fight, is if you try to be better, there's plenty of others that are happy to start trying to tear you down.
Oh, yeah. Your friends and everything else.
Family will work out. Yeah.
Oh, dude.
I can't believe you're doing that. I'm good at this. Or just sitting here sipping my coffee. It's like,
yeah, why don't you come join us at the bar? Why are you going to go work out? Oh,
and really, you
come
should
down into the suck.
Right. We should be pulling them up with us into something different, right? And instead of trying to pull people down, let's give them the hand up and say, let's make something different together. Let's be more. Suck less.
Yeah. It's, I think comes down to the government doesn't do anything.
Well, the thing is, people want government to do something for them. And you
because they suck. They just want it easy.
Because it's easy.
They just want somebody to give me money to stay home because I'm scared that I'm going to get sick.
I mean, no. How many people out there
give me money
just
for nothing?
Don't want
to
be beyond that too. That's the other what song?
Money for nothing.
And your chicks for free. Great song. But how many people
you
don't?
Just offended people, Josh. Don't offend people on the podcast. Chicks for free.
It was the 80s were a great time. I don't care what people say. I was there for a very small portion of it. Actually, all of it. But
what year were you born?
78.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I mean, I was there for all of it, but I wasn't enjoying the 80s like other people, right? I was a kid.
Yeah.
But the 80s seemed like a time, you didn't have to worry about the phone in your pocket going off. You could walk down the street. I mean, people can't disconnect from anything anymore. And I think that maybe one of the societal problems we're facing is that there has to be this constant urge to be connected in some way. But it's a connection. There's other connections you can make.
It's a false connection almost.
Yeah, right? Because if you're with friends, you can connect with buddies and you're doing something that's common. We train a lot, right? We have this connection because we have this desire to do something. these people are trying to find that same desire in something that's not tangible. It exists in a virtual world, or it exists in a group that never meets, right? And they're constantly trying to replace that with something that's not real. And with AI on the way, imagine what that's going to be like for people. They're going to have more connections with their phone in these virtual groups than they will with real people. And that's what we're facing as a society.
And that's what they want to do. Divide us.
Yeah.
They want to divide.
And they're embracing it too. They want these things to happen.
Yeah,
right?
we got to stop it. We got to stop it.
I
don't know how.
I know. It's like
I don't know how.
How do you disconnect people from that?
How do you shut down AI? How do you get people on there?
If you have that answer, please share it with us so we can make a bunch of money off of it. Because
a solar flare, let's bring down the grid.
I mean, what would that feel? All right, let's say for a moment everything does go down one day. How is the average person going to actually react? Like, there's going to be... Most people are just going to stay put for the moment because they don't know where else to go. They're not going to leave their comfort.
Yeah, give them a couple days. And
then after that, then it's just going to be weird. It's just going to be weird.
Well, 90% of the people are going to die in the first year is what the numbers are.
And some will starve in 3 months, right? 3 months.
So
anyway, I don't know. I have a really hard time thinking about the future sometimes.
Yeah, going back to this technology is great, but it's really disconnecting people. Mm-hmm. All of it, there's don't get me wrong, I like learning things and picking things up and, watching somebody or learning, like I fixed my fridge a bunch of years ago. Watch a YouTube video. There's great aspects of it, but as a whole, it's just bringing people down and people are disconnected and they're against each other, and it's most people want to turn a blind eye, right? They don't. It's not going to happen. Mm-hmm. It's not going to happen. Well, even if it doesn't happen, would you be more happy to be out on your own little farm and doing your own little thing, and a small community of people, and have those connections?
The self-reliance part of it, right? No one's self-reliant anymore, or critically thinking. It's like all gone. Yeah,
there's those people out there that do it. I saw a great off the grid. It was somebody. Where was it? Southern Colorado or southwest Colorado. Maybe it might have been out Pagosa, somewhere out that way, Durango-ish area. I'm like, oh, it's cool. And they had 5 or 10 acres. I was like, oh, that was cool. It's already set up. Mm-hmm. That would be awesome. Just to we're going to do it. Where people get my wife, we're going to pay health insurance. And part of me is like, who cares? Let's just figure it out.
Don't use your real name when you go to the doctor.
Yeah.
It's not required. You don't have to give him a name.
That's lying, John.
It's a different show.
That's lying. I mean, do I think it's ridiculous that, people that aren't legal citizens of this country get free stuff and we have to pay for them? Nobody's giving me free stuff. Yeah. It's ridiculous. The border's open. It's ridiculous. Look, people, what are we going to do about this stuff? I have not a clue besides running for president and be willing. I've said it. Actually, it was funny because Tucker Carlson wraps up the episode. It's a good, listen to the last 15 minutes of that. The whole episode's good. Listen to it at 1.2 speed. That'll make it a little bit faster. And you can still understand them. How many times have I said, I'll run for president, but I'm going to get sniped?
Yeah.
And that's what Tucker Carlson said. We need a president that's willing to die for this country and for what's right. I'm like, exactly. That's the only. I'm like, I want to take it over, but you're going to get crushed by these people with this money, or how do we stop these people with so much darn money and power and control to manipulate people? All right, guys, ponder that. As always, train more, suck less, be safe out there. do something. Get a friend doing something. Even if you think you're going to quit, it might take them 5 tries to get into a fitness program or a self-defense program. But you just got to keep at it, keep doing it, keep trying. You know, you're one of those people, something happens to you, you just got to get back on the horse and pound away. It's like grinding out small business. You just got to take your bumps and bruises and keep on fighting. All right, guys, I will talk to you next time. Thanks for joining me.